So the good news is that giving is ahead of schedule, actually, ahead of budget by 10 or 15%. So that's good. Spending is pretty much on track. The second item is, it's not good news. I think you should view it as an opportunity. Anyway, and the council wanted you to know now that Iglesia Del Mar, our renters, for the last 37 years, have bought a church. They bought a building in Half Moon Bay. And that was inevitable. We knew sooner or later they would. They've outgrown this building. One of their biggest issues is, if you ever stayed for their services, for those of you who don't know, they're a Pentecostal Hispanic congregation. You may not hang around when they're here on Friday nights or Sundays. I do frequently, and they're Pentecostal. They make a lot of sound, so they have to bring a lot of equipment in. Friday night, take it out, bring it back Sunday, take it out. They're a much larger church than ours, would say, what, 300 maybe, roughly? So it's a lot of work for them, but they're having trouble getting volunteers too. So they really wanted a building, one that had more space for kids as well. So they're going to move. They don't know when. They have entered into a contract. They're going to start paying a mortgage on a building that somewhere in town. I'm kind of.
Chris?
Yeah, it's going to take them a while. And we have in our contract with them a 3-month written notice. So that hasn't been given. So the impact on our budget really won't be felt probably till the fall, and certainly next year. Unless something goes wrong, they will leave. But like I said, they've been here for 37 years. I think Suzanne's probably the only person who was in this church before they showed up. I mean, it's been a very long, very productive relationship for us. So their rent income for us is about 16% of our budget, so almost $40,000 a year. So come in the future, we're going to have to deal with that. This year, I don't think it'll be a big problem financially because they're not going to leave right away. And we have some budget items that we can cut out that won't really impact anything significantly this year. Obviously, next year, there would be a significant impact. So what did I want to say? And it's very amicable, I should say, the split. They came, gave us notice, said, look, we've been here a long time. We really love this church, we love this building. These are the reasons that we're having to move. Now I have written in my notes, don't panic. So don't panic. We're going to have to take a hard look at how we operate. And I think that that's actually an opportunity. I think we have to start thinking outside the box of how we've always dealt with things here. We kind of just got by. We need to, the only long-term solution, obviously, to these things is to grow the congregation. That's something that we should all be thinking about and trying to do. Another thing would be to look at other ways of using the building to bring in revenue. Then the council will be looking at that. Other renters. But it took a long time for Iglesia to get big enough to pay that kind of rent. So it's unrealistic to think that someone else would want to rent it at those levels in the near future. Then if we want to avoid having painful cuts, and you have to remember like all organizations, our major expense is staff, and we only have 3 part-time staff now. So it really we want to do everything we can to try to avoid having to do anything about their income and their salaries in next year, I think, for sure. The last thing I would like to say, I certainly know that I've been very complacent. Things are okay. Our budget works. Pastor Sue's been willing to be a part-time pastor. This church means a lot to Mary and I. But we've not done very much thinking about how it could get better or bigger or more secure. And maybe a lot of you are like that as well. And so I think it's a good time to stop being complacent. I would ask everyone to think about what ideas they might bring forward to how we could address this potential shortcoming. I would suggest that the council and sometime in the summer maybe start to have interactions with the congregation, maybe listening meetings, brainstorming. Remember, there's no bad ideas. Just think about how we might use the building, think about what we might do to grow more. We don't have to grow a ton. We're pretty small. If we got 5 new members, that would be like a 10% increase in membership, which would be really help towards that, filling that gap. So does anyone have any questions now? Because I've probably taken up enough time. Yes, in the back row. A water slide. There are no bad ideas. Somebody write that one. That's a good idea. Anyway, so this is an ongoing process. Later on, we'll do another meeting. We'll talk where we are if we have more clarity from Iglesia when they're going to leave. But I want you all to start thinking, and because we don't all come to church at the same time, the people that aren't here today, when you see them, would you bring this up, let them know as well that we have this issue. And also our partners. You should know that we don't charge rent for the breakfast. We don't charge rent for any of our ministries. We have AA meeting in here, but that's done as a service to the community. So our primary rental is Iglesia. And so to try, and we do lease land to Head Start, but that's kind of locked in with the feds. So there's not much we can do with that. So again, think about how you might use the building. Water slides, I got one back there. I got another one. Yes, Maeve.
Arcade and a pool.
An arcade? I think there's 2 good ideas back there. Oh, we're getting another. And a pool. Oh, we got lots of ideas. We probably have to get on. You can give me your ideas when later today when I see you at fellowship. All right. Thanks, guys.
Okay. Thank you, Bill.